This 4th of July, we're gonna spice it up with an American Flag Placemat. This 4th of July, I'm having a big family get together. There's gonna be a big barbecue, and I was thinking, what could I make that would really make the event more festive? And I thought I could make an American flag placemat that we can use during the barbecue. This is just so much fun, super easy, worked up really fast, and I think you're gonna love this. This pattern you can find in both the description section and comment section below this video. All you have to do is click on the link and it'll take you straight to the pattern where you can purchase the pattern and be ready to crochet with me, or just follow along with me in this video. I'm gonna label this crochet pattern as an advanced beginner to easy level pattern because we're working with a simple color change, a simple intarsia happening here with the color change of the blue to the red or the blue to the white. But other than that, it's just single crochet stitches and color changes of changing from red to white here with the different strips. That's it. All right, when you are ready to go, let's go ahead and dive into what materials I used to make this American flag placemat. The materials that we are going to need in order to make the American flag placemat will include Lily Sugar and Cream 100% cotton yarn. I highly recommend that you use the 100% cotton yarn. That way, if your placemat gets dirty, which we're using it as a placemat, so it's highly likely that it will get dirty, that all we have to do is throw it in the washing machine and it's easy peasy care instructions. All right, I have white, Dazzle blue, and red here. For red, white, and blue for the American flag. All right, I'm also using the Crochet Hook H8 5mm crochet hook, a pair of scissors, a yarn needle or tapestry needle to help weave in all of the mini ends that we're gonna have in the project. I have felt here, so for me, I cut out felt stars and used fabric glue to permanently glue them onto the placemat itself. You can choose to crochet your own stars or sew on your own stars if you want. I had a struggle with that. I preferred the felt, but again, whatever works best for you. I also have a cardstock pre-cut out star here that I cut out myself. That way all of my stars would be the same size and they didn't turn out all different sizes and wonky. They're all going to be unison. And a tape measure for cutting out the different strips for the fringe on the corners. That way they're all the same length when we cut them out. All right, I'm going to put a link to everything that you see here and have that in the description section and the comment section below this video. So if you're struggling to get your hands on anything, just click on that link, purchase it, and have it shipped directly to you. Make it easy peasy. Otherwise, go ahead and gather all of the materials that you want to use for your placemat, and let's get started. All right, so we're going to start with the red color and our crochet hook. Start with a tail long enough for us to weave in our ends at the end of the project, create our slip knot, attach our crochet hook. Great, and we are ready to begin. We're going to start by chaining 52 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 51, and 52. Great. For row 1, we're just going to single crochet in the second chain from our crochet hook and then make 1 single crochet stitch in every single chain all the way across. We should end row 1 with a total of 51 single crochet stitches. All right, just finished row 1. Moving on to row 2, we are going to chain 1. We will turn our work. And for row 2, all we are doing is making 1 single crochet stitch in every stitch space all the way across. That's it. All right, go ahead and finish row 2, and I will meet you at the end of row 2 to show you what we do differently. All right, just finishing row 2 here, and we have just finished the red color. We're going to now switch to the white color. So grabbing our scissors, cutting a long enough tail for us to weave in our ends at the end of the project, yarn over the tail, pull the tail through the loop on our crochet hook for a tie off, and there we go. Now grab your white color. Turn your work so that way we are starting the work on the right side of the project, starting with a tail long enough for us to weave in our ends, attach our crochet hook right there. All right. To join the white color to the project, we are going to slip stitch in the very first stitch space. Slip stitch. Great. then chain 1, and that would be considered our turning chain. And now all we're going to do is make one single crochet stitch in every single stitch space all the way across, including the same stitch we just slip stitched into to join the yarn. All right, we're just going to go ahead and repeat row 3 to the end of row 5, where we make one single crochet stitch in every stitch across, chain 1, and continue. So I will meet you at the end of row 5 to show you what we do next. All right, just finishing row 5. Great. We're now switching back to red. So taking your scissors, cutting a long enough tail for you to weave in those ends, yarn over that tail, pull the tail through the loop, pull tight for a tie off. Great. Now I want to pause here for a second and acknowledge that want to make sure right off the bat we're making 51 single crochet stitches in every single row. If it will help you to use stitch markers, placing one stitch marker in the very first stitch space and placing one stitch marker in the very last stitch space, that way you can make sure you're staying on track. Do it. All right, definitely start now, that way you don't get further into the project and one side is caving in and you're asking, why is this happening? And then you count and you're like, why am I missing so many stitches? It's so frustrating. So just start now, start in the beginning, that way you can finish off the project with no hiccups. All right, so we're about to switch back to red. Grabbing our red, long enough tail for us to weave in that end, create a slip knot, attaching crochet hook. I like to begin where I end, so moving that stitch marker, slip stitch to join the new color. There we go. Chain 1 for your turning chain, and then go about making one single crochet stitch in every stitch space, including that same stitch we just slip stitched into. You want a total of 51 single crochets in your row. Now here, I'm going to bring this over because it's going to be easier for me to just explain what we're doing and then where we're going to pause, okay? So we have just finished right here. We switch to red. We're going to use red for row 6, 7, 8. Switch to white for row 9, 10, 11. Switch to red for 12, 13, 14. Switch to white for 15, 16, 17. I will meet back up with you after row 17 to show you how we will start working this next row and incorporating the blue color. All right, so it's going to be red, white, red, white, red, white. 3 rows of red, 3 rows of white, and then stop, pause, and I'll meet back up with you and we'll get started here at row 18. See you very soon. All right, so just finished these first 6 sections of the flag placemat right here. 3 red rows, 3 white rows, and now we're on row 18 where we are going to start adding in the blue color. So let's go ahead and grab our blue, grab our red, so that way we are ready. Okay, we just finished the last row of white here, so let's grab our scissors, cut our tail long enough for us to weave in that end. Yarn over, pull the tail through the loop for a tie off. Awesome. Okay, so for me, what I like to do is I like to start where I stopped. So I'm going to go ahead and flip my work, and I'm going to start with the red color. Okay, so grabbing enough to have a tail so that way I can weave in the end, create the slip knot, attach crochet hook. Begin by slip stitching into the first stitch to attach the red color. Slip stitch, great. Chain 1 for what would be our turning chain. Single crochet into that first stitch space that we slip stitched into for our very first stitch. And now what we are going to do is we're going to single crochet in the next 28 stitches. So a total of 29 red single crochet stitches. and then pause, because then we will switch to the blue. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 27, 28, 29. Okay, so this is stitch number 29. I'm going to go backwards a little bit. So this is the 29th stitch here, inserting crochet hook into the stitch space, yarning over, pulling that yarn through. So there's 2 loops on my crochet hook, but then we're pausing here. Okay, grab your blue. Start with the tail long enough for you to weave in any ends. Create your slip knot, and I'm going to take my 2 fingers here. I'm going to pinch that center string so I can create that loop. I'm then going to attach that loop on my crochet hook, grab it with the claw, pull that loop through the 2 loops on my crochet hook, and then I'm going to pull the red, so that's tight, and then I'm going to pull the blue. So I'm going to hold the tail back so it stays tight. And pull the blue so everything tightens up. All right. Move that tail to the back of the work. I do not want to single crochet over the tails. That never really sticks. I'm going to wait to weave that in. Now I'm with the blue color, and I'm going to continue making 1 single crochet stitch in every stitch space to finish off row 18. Now what we just did was a very simple color change in the middle of the row. It's known as intarsia. You just did intarsia. Congratulations. All right, so on the back, if everything's still a little bit too loose for you, you just pull and pull, and it tightens it up. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue row 18. Great. Okay, at the end of row 18, we're going to do what we always do. We're going to chain 1, turn our work. Now we're sticking with the blue, obviously, because this is the blue section of the flag. So we're going to make 1 single crochet stitch all the way up to this last single crochet stitch. Use the blue color in the first 22 stitch spaces. 5, and if you need any help, getting the pattern will be super helpful. It helps keep you on track. 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 21. Okay, on the 22nd stitch, we're going to do that color change. So on the 22nd stitch, we insert a crochet hook into the stitch, yarn over the blue color, pull through, so we have 2 of the same color loops on our crochet hook. Then I'm going to drop that tail. I'm going to pick up the red. I'm going to yarn over the red and pull the red through the 2 blue loops, and that is the intarsia, the very clean color change. And then I will continue making 1 single crochet stitch in every stitch space to finish off row 19. Okay, we've reached the end of row 19. Now it is very important that you at least count out the stitches for the second row, because we want to make sure there are a total of 51 stitches in every single row. That doesn't change. That's also super important, so that way that you can make sure you're sticking with straight sides. And I know that's a big thing for a lot of brand new crocheters too, is making your sides straight. So again, continue using those stitch markers. If those will be helpful for you, handy for you, use them. Go for it. I also want to make sure that you don't accidentally put a stitch in the slip stitch that we made to join the new color to the project, because if you did that, you'd be adding a stitch and then all of a sudden your work will start to flare outwards, and we don't want that. So just wanted to throw in a caution right there. All right, so let's go ahead and just finish off the main part of the flag. You now know how to do the color change here by changing over the blue. Here's what we're going to be looking at. So this is where we're at right now, and this is like the finished project. So where we're at, what we're going to be doing, we're here. See, we're at the red color here. So we're going to do 3 rows of red, then 3 rows of white, 3 rows of red, 3 rows of white, red, white, red. So we will be making 1, 2, 3, 4 more sections of red and 3 sections of white. And we're going to keep the blue going the blue doesn't change. The blue will stay in this line. We will continue to make, what did I say here? 29 stitches of the red or the white, 29 stitches here, and 22 stitches of blue. That stays consistent. So I'm going to go ahead and let you continue on finishing off the main body of the placemat, because you don't need me to hold your hand through every single row and color change. I believe that you have it. If you need to rewatch that section of the video, feel free to watch that section of the video as many times as you want. So I'm going to meet back up with you when we have finished this last row, which will be row 38. So when you finish row 38, I will meet back up with you. We'll tie everything off. We'll start working on the fringe pieces and these stars. See you soon. All right, we just finished row 38 here, last row. So I'm gonna do the last stitch here to close that off. Grab my scissors, long enough tail for me to weave in that end. Yarn over, pull through for the tie off. And what I wanted to do here is I wanted to show you how I was cutting my 3-row stitch, 3 rows and then cut it off. So I literally just take the yarn after 3 rows, cut a long enough tail for me to weave in the end here, and leave it out. See how I have all these strands just kind of hanging outward? They're fine, they're secure. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab my yarn needle or tapestry needle, whatever you wanna use, and I'm gonna weave in all of these ends. And I know there's a lot of them, guys. There was a lot of color changes happening here. So let's take a second before we move forward in making the stars and making the fringe on the corners. Let's just clean up all of these ends, make this a really clean blank canvas, and then move on to the next step. I'll see you here in a second. This is going to take a little bit. All right, beautiful blank canvas, everything all woven in, and we are ready to move on. Now, the thing I'm going to work on next are the little tassels that I'm going to put in the corner. So grabbing your tape measure. Now, this can be a ruler. It can be any kind of measuring tool you want. I am going to be cutting 3-inch long strips. I'm going to cut 4 strips of red, 4 strips of blue, and 4 strips of white. And all strips are going to be 3 inches long. And if you want, you can even divide out the groups and have 4 groups, 1 white, 1 red, 1 blue, 1 white, 1 red, 1 blue, 1 white, 1 red, 1 blue, 1 white, 1 red, 1 blue. So 4 groups with 1 of each color. That way when we go to attach to the actual placemat, they're good to go. All right, already cut and divided out 4 groups. Move those to the side, pull down your placemat. Now we want our placemat to have the blue on the left side. I know this may seem different for you, foreign for you, but after talking with some of my friends that are in the service, they said that the blue is supposed to go on the left side. Okay, so we're gonna keep this forward, grabbing our crochet hook, inserting our crochet hook into the corner stitch from the back to the front. Grab a group of 3. Gonna put all of the edges together here, line them up, straighten them out, and then I'm going to wrap them around my finger so that way the tails are roughly the same length here. Take my crochet hook, run it along my finger, grab the top, pull that loop through the crochet stitch, but hold those tails back. And then we're going to take those tails, yarn over those tails, and pull those tails through the loop. And that will give us that fringe that we are looking for. And now just tighten that knot. Perfect. And then what I'm going to do, just to add to the look so it doesn't look so bold, is I'm going to take all of the yarn strands and I'm going to fray them. I'm going to take my crochet hook, insert it into the yarn, and just separate all those plies for each strip. Now this is optional, but I honestly think it helps to secure that corner, and I think it looks a lot more full and inviting. I like the look of it a lot. Then we'll take it and I'll kind of try to intermix the colors a little bit. And then you have a more full looking little fringe right there. And then you can take your scissors, even them out, cut them all, and then it looks very cleaned up. Isn't that pretty? All right, so repeat this process for each corner, and then we'll come back and start working on those stars. Oh, great. Now we are on to the very last step, which is making the stars. Now the stars I'm going to be up to you on how you want to make the stars. If you want to keep using your white colored yarn, sewing on, like just embroidering on stars, go for it. If you want to try crocheting your own stars, go for it. My best experience though was cutting stars out of felt. And then I was able to get this look right here. Now it's not 50 stars. I completely acknowledge it is not 50 stars, but you get the idea, right? It is still a flag. It still has the beautiful stars here. So you kind of still get the vibe that we are going for. If you really want to make sure there are 50 stars in this section, then you're going to go for something much smaller, very teeny tiny. Okay. Now to start off, so I'm going to be showing you how to do this with felt because that's what I used. Start with stencil or something that's traceable, you know, something that you can use as your one set, stencil. That way all of your shapes, all of your sizes are the same. So I used CardStock because CardStock is thick, it's firmer, it's harder, and it's easier for you to move on material or fabric, and it doesn't bend and flop around. It keeps its shape a lot easier. My star that I created was 1 inch in diameter. So it's a little itty bitty thing. I used my Cricut to cut. I have a paper cutter called the Cricut, and I used my Cricut to cut this small shape, though you don't have to. All right, and then you can either use a pencil or a pen to trace out your shape. Just take your shape, trace over it or around it right there, cut out as many as you can that'll fit in this space. I got 18 stars in mind. But again, if it's important to you to make more than that, then you're going to need to make a much smaller star than what I had. All right, so then we have these star shapes that we will cut out. Before you permanently attach these to your placemat, I recommend you cutting them all out and you laying them all out. That way you have an idea of how they will best fit, the spacing between each star. It's a lot smarter to lay them out first before you permanently attach them. All right. And then I'm going to bring my other example over here. I was able to get 4 on the top, then 3, then 4, then 3, then 4. That was, again, how I did it. I staggered, and that's my example. But again, you do you, however you want to do it. And then you'll grab your Fabric Fusion or any kind of fabric glue. This will permanently glue these stars to your placemat. And this stuff is incredibly awesome. It is machine washable, non-toxic, dries clear and flexible. This stuff is awesome. So I'll shake the bottle a little bit. I will make sure that there's a dab of glue on every star point and in the center. That way it doesn't have any lifting or curling happening on any of the points of the star. And then I will glue it down, press it down, wait a couple seconds, and then move on to the next one until they're all done. I'll probably wait a few hours before using this, definitely before washing this, and then your placemat's done, guys. That's it. All right, guys, that's it. That's how you make the American Flag Placemat. I hope you had fun and make a ton of these. If you like this video, please push that thumbs up button. It's like a big high five and I think it's awesome. If you haven't yet already, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss my upcoming videos. I have an upcoming video on an American flag coaster. I have more Technique Tuesdays coming out, and I have some amazing projects like pillows and blankets and more tops that you're not going to want to miss out on. So subscribe and hit the bell so you get notified when my tutorials release on YouTube. Also, if you want more out of my channel or just like to support my channel in general, check out my membership program. There's a couple levels that I think you'll really enjoy. All right, guys, if you had fun with this tutorial, check out these other tutorials right here, which are very similar, which I think you'll have a lot of fun with. Just keep it going. Also, check out this video, which is a recommended video for you to watch. Thank you so much for crocheting with me. I always have a blast crocheting with you. And remember, don't just crochet something to crochet something. Make a memory. I'll see you at the next one, guys. Bye.